All right.
Alrighty.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Badia.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
It's about to get better.
It's about to get better.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I love those conversations.
Oh, yeah?
You know, oh yeah. When we can dive deep into the psyche of our own consciousness, it's just, yeah.
Nothing better than those types of conversations, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no place to hide.
So were you always interested in those conversations, even as a sort of a kid? Or did that come later?
No, you know, it's kind of, even when I was a kid, it's like, why are we here? What's the purpose of life? And, you know, when you have those questions and you ask your parents and they say, that's like this, and they end up like shutting you down because nobody really has an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you end up finding the answers, so getting close to the truth, you know, if you keep persisting and, you know, not giving up on an answer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you were always interested in it then.
Yeah.
You have like that French philosopher in you, you know? I feel like the French philosophers are always,
Yeah, you love
deep
that
diving.
too, hey? You love the Diderot. I think you studied Diderot.
Gerard. Wait, who's the guy that you're talking about now? Diderot?
Diderot.
Diderot? How do you spell that? Who's that?
Diderot.
Hold on.
Diderot.
Spell it? D-I...
Diderot.
Oh, darn, I'm not logged in. Hold on. Let's pull it on. By the way, I pull out cell phones in the middle of the podcast and stuff.
Go for it.
D-I-D...
Erot.
Diderot. He's French?
Yeah.
What was his thing? What to find out. But no, two of my favorite philosophers are French. René Girard and Pierre Teilhard de Chardin.
Right.
Both life-changing philosophers for me. Denis Diderot, French philosopher, one of the central figures of the Enlightenment. He helped... He's most famous for editing the encyclopedia. Wow.
I'm not very popular with his work, to be honest with you.
Huh. But the French just always sort of have these philosophers. They're bringing up some more Voltaire, Rousseau.
That's it.
You know.
That's the
so
era.
you're in that vein.
Yeah.
That culture.
Well, you know, even if you're not from there, I mean, you end up going through life and having relationships that can be so challenging. And when you start seeing a repetitive pattern, you have to start asking yourself the questions, but the right one. Not like, oh, why me? Or, but it's like, okay, wait a minute. For the very little I know, it's a co-creation there. I'm not the victim all the time. You know, the common factor is me.
Did you say co-creation?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Who are you co-creating with?
Well, when you enter a relationship, you create that with your partner.
Very true.
More or less consciously. There's those unconscious parts that are coming back up to the surface when you're in a relationship.
I think that's kind of what makes relationships a challenge sometimes, right? Or difficult, that you're sort of challenged, like you said, with another perspective that sort of makes you have to question your own self and things that you took for granted. That makes sense?
Yeah. But it's not so much like also, I mean, there's maybe those things you take for granted, but it's also understanding sometimes why when you look back, you end up realizing that you pour yourself out too much.
What do you mean by that? Pull yourself out?
You pour yourself out too much into a relationship. You know, like the time I was working, I noticed that a lot of women particularly, they were like canceling their plans for the guys, like literally pouring their energy onto that relationship, and then they all end up saying, "Oh, I'm better when I'm single. I feel so much better when I'm single than when I'm with a guy." It's because, you know, if you think like that while still craving being in a healthy relationship, but you can't help it, you know, it always happens like this. Well, you are the one that needs to start looking, why do I put so much energy? Because I felt taken for granted. Of course. because there's also a failing in understanding male psychology, you know?
So do you think women in general understand male psychology?
No. No. I think a lot of women think they know about male psychology.
Mm-hmm. But they don't really?
No. Like just a simple thing, reciprocation. This is something women, we connect with reciprocation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why when even when you have your girlfriend, I mean, if I'm with my girlfriend and she's gonna talk, I know at some point she's gonna say, okay, enough about me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like tell me about you. But men, when they express something, they, you know, when they actually feel safe enough to open up to you as a woman, knowing that you're not gonna cut him off or judge him, you know, we're surprised then when after he said his thing, it's like, okay. And now we feel like, okay, let me talk about my thing now, you know? It's not like that. It's just, he said it and then it goes away. It's, you know, like on text messages as well. It's like, woman, every time a guy sends us a text, it's like, you want to answer with a love heart, love you, baby. By the way, try not to call your man baby, because the words as well is kind of like, you end up mothering the guy without realizing, you know?
Interesting. Do you think that women do that a lot? End up mothering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for need for validation, very often. And because we also show, you know, we treat the men the way we want to be treated. It's like, hey, I'm treating you like that. That's how I want to be treated.
Right.
But it doesn't work like this. You show him how you want to be treated by leading by example on how you treat yourself. You want him to buy you flowers? Well, get yourself flowers, you know, like even when he knows he's not there. Don't wait for him to do it. Because then after you come like a nagging bitch. You know?
Yeah. So do you think it's always like this between the sexes, and it's always been like that? This sort of men don't really understand women and women don't understand men? Or is that more a part of the times that we're in now?
I think it's more of the times that we're in now. It's I generally believe it's more the times that we're in now, and the confusion and all those misinformation, all that distraction. Because if you really wanted to make a relationship work, you will educate yourself. You will ask questions. You will become more conscious. You know that if you come a certain way, you know, like you're gonna get a wall. Just understand yourself. It really comes down to yourself, really. You are the one that determines your standards, what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate. Just hold those standards in relationship by still keeping an open heart and open mind, because you are with another human being. It's always about compassion, understanding when he's having a reaction. It's like, okay, I'm conscious enough to understand that right now it's something deeper. You know, it's not really about me. The reaction is not the one of a man, it's the one of a boy. You know, and as a woman coming like just grounding, being more grounded and acknowledging that, instead of engaging in fight back and forth, you know, like don't talk to me. Okay, at some point, someone has to be, you know, a bit more grounded and realize that, hold on a second, it's not my enemy. That's the person that I love the most. Why does it doesn't need to feel like we're enemies because all of a sudden we fell understanding how we triggered each other. I think it's really important to establish the strategy to recover from arguments.
To recover from our what?
Arguments.
What type of strategies do you use or recommend?
Well, it depends on what you know you need. Like, for example, I communicated to him very clearly that when we have arguments, if you leave the room, that makes it worse for me. Because all of a sudden I'm left by myself for something that got created together, as if you didn't want that. So it feels all of a sudden very conditional. It's like, are you okay to be with me when I'm happy and all, but the 5% that, it's challenging, you go away. So it's like, if we could just maintain closeness, basically. If we could try to even like maintain physical contact, holding hands or...
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely a male instinct, is to get away when there's a issue or a problem, And I don't think that's definitely not the woman instinct, No,
but because I don't know if I'm going to make sense on that, but we all have a part of feminine aspect and masculine aspect inside, and very often men, they want a woman that is what's going to attract you to a woman. It's very often the feminine part that you have denied within you, and the feminine part's going to be the level of which you can nurture yourself, being connected and in touch with your emotions. So that's the attraction, But the problem, though, is that you're attracted because unconsciously you don't know that this is what that part you need to integrate yourself. Right? So as much as you love that woman because she's so in tune with her emotions, she's gonna trigger the shit out of you, man, because you don't know what to do with those emotions yourself, which is why you're so attracted to her in the first place.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Because then it's like in the same situation where the guy wants to leave, it's that very moment that he needs to stay. Because in a sense, he's kind of, based on what you're saying, contextually, is that he's sort of running away from himself at that point.
Yes.
Right? But to be able to stay there in that moment where there's tension, that's hard for the man to do, but that's where the real work is, right?
Yes, but I also want to add a precision on that. It's also given the fact that the woman is not coming at the man hysterical. Because there's a difference between being hysterical and expressing depth.
Sure.
You can be really passionate about it and really stating your boundaries, like really firmly, but there's a difference between being hysterical, insulting him, or attacking his character.
Right.
We're talking in a context of people that actually still love each other, when they're disconnected.
Yeah. No, I get it. There's different levels. One level can be a sort of, we're having a disagreement, we're not quite seeing eye to eye, there's some tension, and then, another level you're saying is maybe more abusive, and there's more,
The spoiled brats, like doing tantrum and screaming and like hitting and attacking the character. There's things that you can't take things back that you say when you're angry. And I think women underestimate the power of their words, and they should be in charge of their internal typhoon,
Internal typhoon.
But that's the work for women, It's to be in charge as well of their emotions. Doesn't mean you suppress it, but you understand what they mean and you act accordingly.
You were saying earlier that you seem to be saying that in some relationships, you've seen some of your friends pour themselves into a relationship.
Yeah.
And to the point where it becomes a detriment.
Yeah.
So what is that balance, right? Because, apparently you're supposed to give in a relationship. You are supposed to give yourself, right? But based on what you're saying, there's a limit.
Yeah, of course.
So how do you give yourself but maintain who you are? Right? When is there a way to understand when you're overlapping or you're going too far?
Well, usually your body is going to tell you, because it's going to feel like it's it's going to feel like you're abandoning yourself, kind of like forgetting about your priorities. So it's about, it's like in every relationship you give and then you see how appreciated that is. If you cook a meal every night and you never get a thank you, I stop cooking for you. I'm gonna keep cooking for myself, but if there's nothing, no gratitude, no presence, no nothing, this is where I'm gonna draw the line.
Right.
I respect myself, but I'm gonna not allow the person that I love the most to disrespect me.
It's interesting that you were saying earlier that it's more a sign of the times now where there's sort of a disconnect between the sexes. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I think there's a lot of commentary in the world about this sort of disconnection that the sexes are having.
Yeah.
What do you think caused that?
The system. We're like so fully plugged in the system, and it's not even funny. Yeah, so the mind is so fragile and yet so powerful, and we need to go back to basics. Go back to basics. The brain is not meant to be fired up with so many information. It's like you can't, if you spend the time like scrolling, I mean, how many people say that already? If you scroll so many times, then you can't even stand still, have a proper conversation with someone. It's like your brain is like it's kind of like a mini computer, like you're like a mini robot inside. And if you just like program the thing to just like not be present, then you can't sustain a relationship, but eventually you can't even sustain a healthy body. You don't feel good. I mean, look at people. There's a rise of a hospital being built, more pharmaceutical going on because it's about numbing more and more.
Yeah, there's like anxiety and depression. Like a lot of these things are sort of like on the rise.
Now, why is that? If it's because you're not present, when you're fully anchored in the present, there's no problem.
Do you meditate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different forms of meditation. It doesn't mean laying down, or it just means being present with what's going on. And sometimes I'm just in the backyard and sitting and just being present, watching, just looking, observing the thoughts in my head. Sometimes feeling my body tense, and I catch myself. It's like, oh, where was I plugged back into the system, because I could not remember where I was. And I'm like, oh yeah, my brain took me there. That's why my body was tense. Yeah.
You think there's a difference between the mind and the body?
It's a very intimate connection. You need to be in charge of. You definitely need. It's kind of like that soul that you familiar with Sophia consciousness. So basically, your soul. You allow your heart, your soul, giving the information to your brain, and your brain activates your body. Everything is connected, and that's. I think it's a hijacking, massive hijacking these days on our consciousness. And to our minds.
You said the Sophia consciousness?
Yeah.
And that's like a phrase? That's like a...
No. You can look it up and study it. It's a Carl Jung, Sophia consciousness.
Okay.
That's it's not just for women. It's literally a state of consciousness where you know that intuition that you hear sometimes, that gut feeling. That's Sophia consciousness.
Sophia's consciousness comes mostly from ancient mystical traditions, especially Gnosticism.
Yeah.
She appears in texts discovered in the Nag Hammadi library. Cool. No, don't you think women are a little more in tune with this, though, than men? This Sophia consciousness, this intimate connection between the body and the mind.
Yeah,
or not necessarily.
They are, but you see, I mean, there's all that spiritual nonsense now that just allow women to hide behind, you know, like shields to say, oh no, it's his fault, you know, like some high level of narcissism. Just because you sense things, or it's, be honest, just keep it real. It's not about perfection. You know, Sophia consciousness, it's not about perfection. It's about keeping it real, even if it's messy. And relationships is the same. I don't want perfection. I want real. If you mess up, I don't want you to just pretend that everything's perfect.
Right.
I'm expecting you to stay real. And then we work it out. This is courage.
This is courage. That's true. That's
That's the courage that we all need to have a little bit more.
It's interesting to me hearing you talk, because it sounds like a journey for you is very introspective. It's very interior. You know, it sounds like there's a whole world where, because the courage, like you're saying, is to be real, to stay present in that moment. Whereas so often in the world today, it's like, I need to produce, I need to make money, I need to, you know, there's these outside factors that play into it. Whereas when I'm hearing you talk, like a lot of it just sounds like, no, the journey is interior, you know.
But I swear, if people were spending more time working inside, they will not be wasting so much time outside. Because first, if you start, like most people, they put so much energy into making money for success, for something that they don't even question. What is success? What is success for me?
All right.
Like, if I want to live off grid, I don't need to, you know, like a Porsche and the fancy clothes and everything. I just need a big truck and a piece of land. But now, if we don't question it, then everybody ends up working for that fancy car or that fancy car, because that's gonna make John jealous, and Nadia's gonna be like so upset and envious, and like, no. Just that if you feel something like that coming to your mind, stop. Why do I even think like that about Nadia? Why would I be happy if she's jealous?
You know, that touches very closely to Rene Girard, because he has this idea of mimeticism, where humans tend to, the things that they desire is because somebody else desired them. And so they're copying desire. And then for him, that's a problem, because then typically what happens is that they both end up desiring the same thing, and there's not enough to go around, and then that's what creates violence.
Okay. FOMO. It's FOMO.
Yeah, basically. And it's a very interesting theory, but, you know, I mean, just based on what you were saying, that sounds very similar. You know, the idea that we want this car because this other person has this car, and this other person's going to see me with this car, and, you know, not just the car, but whatever it is that you're sort of desiring out there.
Yeah, it's on the principle of filling yourself up with external thing, you know, hoping to be happy.
So is external reality?
It's whatever you make of it. Your reality is going to be different, is different than mine. As many people as there's that many different realities. Okay,
but no, what I'm asking you, though, is like, I'm understanding what you're saying about the interior journey that we take and that we should take and that we should always take.
Start with that, yeah.
You start with that. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, the external realities, your house, the money, how important is that?
Well, it is important. We can't deny that. We can't just be like we're not just spiritual beings. You know, we also live in that 3D reality, and that does matter. What I mean is, go for alignment. It's about alignment to yourself.
Right.
I'm not saying, you know, that I want to live like in the bush or whatever. I mean, yes, I'd love that, but with a house,
Right. If
that
it aligns
has
with you
yeah,
in the way that you want it.
exactly.
Right.
It's really about personal alignment. But if you look on social media, it's every one narrative on one thing to do for one goal. You work hard, you have big muscles, you do Botox and fillers, you look hot, you have many likes, and then what? And then what? You're still left with yourself at the end of the day feeling empty as hell. And this is that feeling. Eventually, stop one night. Don't ignore that feeling and address it.
So how can people address it?
Well, sometimes it's like the moment where you're getting sick of feeling that pain inside because you're tight when it's like that, when you try to control, when everything depends on external. And just realize it's like, why? If it's likes, it's like, why does it matter so much to me that people show that they like? Because it makes me feel seen. Okay. Why don't I feel like I'm being seen? Why do I need external? Okay, knowing that everything is a projection, how can I see myself? And you're going to realize it has nothing to do with your beauty. It's your personality, but these days, everybody is brainwashed to just be, you want to be liked, you want to be happy, just be pretty. And you as a guy just look hot and you can score any woman because this is what we guys do, not.
All right. Yeah, it's true when you think about it that to be seen by other people is one thing, but then to be seen by yourself, I just feel like that's just where there's more substance and there's more peace, right?
You say the word peace. Life, you have to question what is it that you want, in life. And everything you do, it's for you to feel more peaceful. It's to create peace. And eventually, when you know what it takes to create peace, you guard it. So you word your boundaries gently when people, think it's okay to just break your peace. Or you just cut it. You just become unfuckwithable.
Is that a word? Unfuckwithable. I don't think I've heard that before, but it makes perfect sense.
It works, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, there's so many stories about people who have achieved high levels of fame just to be completely falling apart.
They're empty inside.
Yeah.
And this is where we need to teach our kids. It's breath work. I saw you had Mirabel on your podcast. Like, she's great to teach, those things as well, like breath work. This is so crucial. This is everything. Start there.
Yeah.
Start there, because when you're in your bathroom and just criticizing yourself and comparing yourself, you can actually just remind yourself to breathe, and you can stop the thought, and it's in breathing that you can slow down and be fully present with what's going on.
We don't teach that at all.
I know.
At all. And I agree with you. That should be taught. It's such a skill. Everybody breathes. Everybody, but no, we don't think of it as a skill. We don't think of it as a tool, but it really, really is. It's pretty amazing that we don't talk about that or think about that.
You can even access altered state of consciousness with your breath alone. You don't need to smoke. You don't need to get high. You just get high on your own breath.
Very true. Very, very true. You do yoga?
No.
No, never.
No. I tried, but I don't really like the space with people. So you see me in a coffee shop, whatever coffee shop that is in the morning, and then I disappear. Yeah. Occasionally at the supermarket, but that's it. That's it, man.
Yeah. And that's fine, right? Like it's your alignment, right? It's being where you need to be.
Yeah.
It's
do a lot of breath work and just staying with my thoughts. You know, especially as a woman, when you're about to get your cycle, it just goes crazy. You end up like being a full-on portal download, you know, for information and the stuff that you thought you had processed with your friends. You know, some stuff come up at the surface and you're like, okay, I need to send a text there. I need to do that. I need to do that thing and close it properly, you know?
So what are some breath techniques that you use that you could share?
The simple one, you know, like a big inhale through the nose, holding, and then a longer exhale to really relax when you tense. And closing the eyes, because I noticed that closing the eyes, it really helps disconnecting from all those distractions around, even if there's no one around. It's still those colors and shapes. So I just close my eyes, put my hands on my chest and one on my tummy, and unconsciously breathing. And try to do only 6 inhale and exhale per minute.
6 per minute?
Yeah. It's a good way to actually disconnect from the system and reconnect with your Sophia consciousness.
So when you say the system, elaborate on that a little more. What is the system? Is the system something that exists naturally and that we're always sort of fighting against? Or is the system some sort of man-made system?
Archonic technology.
What technology?
Archon.
What's that? Spell it.
I believe it's ARCON. I mean, I just know with the name.
Archon?
Archon. This is the system by which we operate. So basically, when your mind is on autopilot and you're not aware that you're thinking, you're really fully plugged into the system, the matrix system. When you're by yourself and you just by yourself and you start feeling like bored, for example, and some uncomfortable thoughts comes to your mind, the reflex you have to grab your phone, this is the system. This is Archon trying to distract you from that thing that is about to come to light.
Again, another Gnostic principle. Very interesting. So based on that, then, it's not necessarily some sort of man-made system.
No, you can call it like the matrix system. People call it the matrix. You see where you can see everything is connected to everyone. Well, there's this artificial grid and we all plugged in, but we have that fire, that flame inside, you know, that allows us to break free from it.
So this is just a lifelong battle for humans.
We better hurry because the reincarnation trap is pretty well tight and our bodies are becoming more synthetic with time. And we need our body to stay the way it is, as natural as possible, because that's our body that keeps the blood and also sends signals that allows us to connect more and more with that intuition, that Sophia consciousness that helps breaking the system. It's literally a spiritual war going on. So if we don't do anything, well, we just end up like giving up on the soul. And it becomes a very clinical and robotic AI-driven where we are being harvested for our energy.
That sounds like the Matrix.
No, but it's so true when you look at it.
Yeah.
It's your energy. What do you think you're doing when you look at your phone? You're feeding the system. You're feeding the thing. It's a box. It's a black thing. You're feeding it. Where you put your attention, where this is where your energy goes. That's why if everyone was all of a sudden putting attention to something very negative, then I believe it's just...
It would go away.
It would go away. Think about it. If you think of blue cars, you're going to go outside, you're going to see only blue cars.
True.
That's it.
That's true. That's true. Like even when you get a new car and then you start seeing that car everywhere. Where attention goes, energy flows.
Voila. And you think, it's just spiritual, hairy-fairy wording. And yes, there's a lot of nonsense and toxic aspect in the spiritual field, absolutely. But energy is real. Nikola Tesla said it.
Tesla?
Yeah. If you want to understand the world, it's energy, frequency, and vibrations. That's only what's real.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy to think about. Like, literally.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
And do you want something even crazier? It's to know that if you think all your thoughts you think is just yours and nobody hears it because it's in your head, when they all emit a frequency and they have action, they have impact on the field around you. So that's why becoming conscious of what you're thinking all the time, you're allowed to just emit a different wave that just bounces back to you like mirror into something more conscious. That's why the work inside is the best, because otherwise, like if we don't work inside, it's basically us fighting in 3D reality and trying with matter to change matter. Instead of changing the source, just the frequency you're emitting.
Right.
It's like a radio, you don't need to put it louder, you just tune it properly.
Pretty amazing that I feel like, the scientific revolution made us all a little more material minded and a little less spiritual minded. But I feel like, especially since COVID, that people just have sort of abandoned that material scientific, like even now, like people just the world is flat. I don't care what science says, I don't believe in vaccines. I don't care what the science. People are just sort of disregarding science and just throwing it away, everything that we sort of used to take for granted, and are embracing a more holistic, consciousness is a big thing now.
Yeah.
And I think with quantum science, that brought consciousness to the fore a little bit. It's funny, science actually got us there as well, with this whole quantum idea, this idea of quantum. But it's just interesting. I remember as a kid, even as maybe a young guy in my 20s, like, being scientific was that was the method. That's how you knew you were smart.
Be a doctor, yeah.
Yeah, Whereas I feel like just in the last 10 years even, it's just been such a switch and people are just abandoning that. And it makes a lot of people worried. A lot of people get worried about that, because a lot of people still trust the science, right? Trust the science, the science. And I'm not saying don't trust the science. All I'm doing is just observing what's happening around us. And a lot of people are just sort of like, nah.
Let me go back to plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go back to basics again. Yeah.
And when you strip, go back to basics, you can only become more conscious. There's no place to hide, When you feel uncomfortable, you just have no other way but addressing it.
Yeah, it's So where did you learn all of this?
School of Life. Most of it, seriously, and that's why it meant so much to me to help people. The time I was working in Cayman.
And how did you help them?
Well, first it's about, there's something about the helping. It's like I'm not going to say people are healer or anything. I believe. I know I've been through so much crap that it's kind of with time as if I had developed a dictionaries of frequencies. And I think people are drawn to the natural. I didn't advertise. People are naturally drawn because even if you don't know why you call a certain person, it's because they hold the healed frequency of what you want. So it just makes them feel safe in the first place to know that, okay, there's something I don't know about her, but I feel safe. And it's because you can sense that there's no judgment to start with. Because to go through that journey of introspection, you're going to feel a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. Right? So I had this client that came to me, and I made him fill a document, like a questionnaire. And one of the questions was, what is it that you despise the most in people? And he said, I hate when people are manipulative, when they're liars, like liars are constant liars, so bad, right? I'm like, okay. And the next question was, where am I displaying those same qualities? Reflex, right? It's like, I hate that in people. Hell no. Like, I don't do it. I don't do that.
Right.
And I just patiently waited 2 seconds, just looked at him in the eyes, and it's like, my frequency was like, it's safe. You can see it. Open your eyes. Your eyes. And the courage that this man had, he literally looked at me and he said, oh my gosh, I lie to myself all the time. I'm manipulative because I'm actually doing this, and that. And he was like, taking it all in, but the courage that it requires, most people run away from that.
Yeah.
Because you confront yourself to your shame. And to be like, hold on a second, this is what I hate the most. But this is also an indication that whatever you despise the most in people, you do it.
Right. And that's something Carl Jung said. That he popularized that.
It's a reality. When I found myself being so reactive when my friend was being controlled by his work colleague, I'm like, what, bitch? What the heck? I'm like, whoa, Steph. With what I knew, I went in the bathroom, look at myself in the mirror, and I said, all right, Steph, show me. Where are you a control freak, bitch?
Right.
And it comes like a...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's just like, that enlightens you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's not good. I don't want to be like that. But then once you see it, you just deal with it. And it goes away, funny enough.
When your consciousness apprehends it, right? It kind of goes away.
Yeah. Then you realize it's like, oh my gosh, yes, I was controlling in my romantic relationship because I didn't feel safe and it was not compatible and I compromised myself staying. All of that comes up.
Right.
And then you set new standards for yourself.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the harder things to do in life, is that quote. The things that you don't like in people are the things that you do, and is your sort of the thing you don't like in yourself. That's always so hard to confront,
But you confront as well. It humbles us because we realize that if we catch yourself wanting to judge someone, it's like, hold on a second. With what I know now, there is a projection, very likely. Where am I being controlling?
Yeah. And it is humbling. I think that is the good word for it.
And you end up having more compassion because you become less reactive. You can understand why people have certain emotions. You're like, oh.
Right. Right. And you're more empathetic at that point then, because you do the same thing. I understand why you're like that,
I was like that, so now I understand. You don't, and then now I can just notice when there's controlling patterns and say, okay, this is not necessary.
It's so hard for us to admit that we're wrong. It is so hard for humans to do that, to admit that to admit our faults. And we're so blind to it. You really sometimes you need some sort of outward person, or that's why I think therapy is very beneficial, because you sort of need someone to just identify it for you.
All your relationships are gonna be the stronger and the quickest mirrors.
That's true. That's very true. Actually, you're right about that. That's very true.
Because we're meant to expand, so that's why there's eventually in healthy relationship where they are consistent growth in regards to consciousness. There's the ugly is gonna come up. You're gonna have to address it, so you can finally, personally, get rid of shame and guilt. That's where they trap a lot of people when it's about to leave your body. And for the reincarnation trap, there's few layers of it, and one of them that's using your own unprocessed guilt and emotions against you. That's why it's so important in this lifetime to just get it all out. Just trust, just if you have that person, just face your concept of shame and guilt.
So talk to me about shame and guilt. Where does that come from? I mean, because you've said those two things quite a bit already. And is there any good that can come from shame and guilt? Or is it always a bad thing? Because
well, if you keep it in, yeah, that's fragments your consciousness. Oops, sorry. It fragments your consciousness. It's literally something is the guilt is something is. Hold on. The shame is something is wrong with you, right? Mm-hmm. And the guilt is you did something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you don't want to admit that you did something wrong, right? Mm-hmm. It's like if you okay, let me start again. So the shame is really it's very damaging because it's really touching your core of your being. It's like something is wrong with me. I'm a bad person. So I'm shameful. So you put a block that you never want people to see that. So this is going to fragment your consciousness, right? If anybody start touching that, you're going to be very reactive, right? You're going to pretend, no, you've never done such a thing, right? So that's what you want to be able to do eventually, is to start reintegrating that part, to say, to have kindness and compassion for yourself. To be like, you know what, I didn't know any better. Because we all know, we all say, oh, I know I'm not perfect, but yet we all behave as if we were.
Perfect, yeah. That's
by
true.
not wanting to address that. You're meant to go through that. You're meant sometimes to feel shameful. You're meant sometimes to feel all those shitty emotions because you're meant to be learning about yourself. So you can start sometimes detaching yourself from how people look at you, perceive you, and start like worrying more about what type of person you want to be instead of how people perceive you.
And it's so freeing if you can do that. If you could not care what people think about you.
I think it's nice to still have people giving you feedback. I think feedback is important, but not taking all feedback as part of your truth is crucial. Yeah. I mean, if you know yourself enough, then you know that when Mary comes to me and say like I'm a selfish person, like I'm like, okay, I don't need to just react or to justify that what she says is wrong. And that's why we need to give an unexpected answer to someone that comes to you strong. Instead of someone comes strong onto you, bam, just like I'm gonna get stronger. Trying to think of what can I say to just crush her better. Men, you better at doing that in bars, you know, when someone comes and want to pick a fight, it's like, come on, buddy, come on, don't worry. Like, what do you want to drink? You know, to try to dissipate. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you used to teach people? You used to mentor? Or
yeah, I mean, it's more like helping them, like getting unstuck. Especially with relationships, women with men and men with women.
Who do you prefer working with more, men or women?
I found both sides very interesting.
Yeah.
Hearing from masculine perspective is I learn a lot by listening to my male clients.
Right.
And the way they choose to share information, you know, like the level of safety. Social media seems to show that safety is only for women, but safety is for men as well.
What do you mean? Like
emotional safety.
Probably more for men.
It's equally valuable, you know. It's just expresses differently.
Did you ever read any Plato?
No.
You have a lot of Plato in you. So
Oh, yeah?
maybe I don't know if you need to read Plato, but yeah, you do. So like it's funny because Aristotle and Plato, like they're the two probably the most famous Greek philosophers, and I think they represent kind of what we're talking about now, where Aristotle is the scientific minded materialist. He doesn't believe in anything unless he can prove it based on what he sees. All
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Whereas Plato had this idea of the forms. There's things that exist outside of material reality that are true. Like the dog. Like a dog is a dog. There's a form of a dog. That's why when we see a dog, we know a dog. But when you look, all dogs are different. You got some big dogs, small dogs. You can have all sorts of dogs. He's like, but the idea of the form of a dog is something that exists outside.
In the quantum field.
Right. And Aristotle's like, oh, that's foolishness. That doesn't exist. Only that specific dog is. So these two great minds, and Aristotle was the student of Plato. Plato came first, and then Aristotle. But these two great minds still sort of project on humanity today. And I think I can always sort of pinpoint who somebody is. You're very Platonic in the way that you view things, whereas it's a very much the interior life that's real. That's for
I
very
think
real.
most of those big minds, like they were talking and focusing more on the internal world.
Yeah. There's another
Like how, even if you were to focus only on the external world, how would you even rationalize your intuition? You can't.
true, you can't really. Yeah.
So just from that principle, or just that little voice that tells you to just turn on that street, to only find out 10 minutes later that there was a massive accident, that voice inside of you, just you, nobody was talking, was guiding you towards safety. How do you explain that? And just to know that there's this, it should be enough. I mean, for me, that's enough to be like, okay, let me dive in. And if I was to actually listen to that 24/7, what would happen? Synchronicities, integrity.
So I have a question. Do you believe in God?
Yes.
What does God look like to you?
It's more an energy. Like a consciousness cloud, like you have like iCloud on your phone. Like a consciousness cloud. Yeah.
Right. And sort of everything comes out of that and
Yeah.
goes back to that?
Yeah. And I think that it's pure consciousness.
Is it personal?
No, but I think the war going on that planet is definitely a war of world, different worlds, and it's personal against humanity. Yes.
What do you mean? It's personal against humanity.
I think we are fully under attack. Humanity is under attack because our minds are hijacked. So if the mind is hijacked, how can you ever realize how powerful you truly are? You're so distracted, you don't have the time to really connect with God that is within you. But if you do that, then we realize that everything that is in place is there to harvest, take our energy. It's not there because they want our best at heart. It's not, because it's making people feel more separated and isolated and more depressed and fragmented than ever. So that's why now it's time to realize that, hey, we can change that, because if we don't wake up, where do you think it's going? It's extinction of humanity. If you start not questioning the just why am I here? Then you give in. It's like, oh yeah, let me that cheap so I can pay quickly like that. Yeah. Oh, actually have next thing it's gonna be you're upset because you lost your mom. That's okay. We've got the chip for you in your brain. We're gonna tweak that to make you believe that, and you're not gonna know the difference if you're actually into an incubator or living that life, or if you're actually really living it.
Mm. Mm.
And while you're there, you're just like having emotions that generate an energy, a different frequency. That's what feeds the system. You even have people like artists, like The Weeknd. It says we want your emotions. Now it's in broad daylight. They don't even hide. They tell people in their faces, and I don't understand why people still go and listen to it. The guy says, we want your emotions, your sadness, your sorrow. When you listen to the song, we want all of that. We need that.
Mm.
And you have concert rooms full of like thousands of people crying, not knowing like... I know if the Stephanie 10 years ago listening to me now will have said like, what the fuck did you smoke, girl? But the more you dive into yourself, the more you realize how powerful you are, and the more you can see what's going on.
So, do you believe in the devil?
Yes.
And is that what you're talking about when you're talking about this war?
Mm-hmm. The Gnostic were calling the archons. Of course, you can't be believing in God without the devil. One doesn't exist without the other. But the devil is not the character, right? It's also an energy. Every time that if you're married and you have the temptation and you give in to temptation, that was the devil energy. If the agreement in your relationship is no flirting and you allow yourself to flirt, it's you have let that evil energy within you, and that comes into your relationship. Why is it evil? Because on top of that, it's very likely you're going to come to their house and hide it. You know how it comes and just sneaks in into relationships? That's why it's not about like confessing. It's just, I want to know that I'm aligned with myself and that what I say, what I believe, and what I do is aligned. That's all that matters. It's not perfection. It's about keeping it real.
Yeah, there's a war going on. I remember Bob Marley said this in one interview. There's a war going on. Life is trying to take death. No, death is trying to take life.
It's true.
He's like, but life is stronger than death. Life is the road.
Well, when you look at it this way, I mean, we still carry the codes, that they've tried to bury thousands of years ago. So the signal that we carry is pretty strong. That's why you have so many people waking up. But even by waking up, I mean, I want to add a precision there, because there's a difference between able to see and say, oh, yeah, I can see this is not right, and actually really being awake, which means implementing daily changes in your habits, not feeding the thing. If you realize that, if you come to a realization that all sports games are rigged, it's all evil.
Pretty loud, huh?
Yeah, it is. Well, even if you like concert, for example, you're not going to go to a concert anymore because that these artists are worshipping the devil. That they put hidden frequencies into their music. So it's like, once you know that, why would you still go there? It's like knowing that the type of food is poisoning you. Once you know, you can't enjoy it the same.
Right.
You're not going to stop maybe right away. But eventually you will, because every time you're gonna have it, you can't you can't forget that stuff is killing you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't enjoy it 100% the
It's
same,
never
right?
the same, yeah.
And
Yeah.
people is the same. It just doesn't mean like a big shift from not from McDonald's to no McDonald's at all. It's like slow shift. But for
Right.
your character is the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you're always feeling triggered because on your pride when someone says certain things, like sit with it. Make it a personal thing this week to actually address that and dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
So next time you actually can understand better yourself and you don't give in to the trigger to the person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you think that there is an end to the world? To our world? Is there a final goal? Is there a culmination?
I was reflecting on that today.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think of it like a Sophia's consciousness being like spread in humanity,
Mm-hmm.
and if we start gathering,
Mm-hmm.
it feels more like it would be a shift of dimension, a dimensional shift,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like a parallel Earth, but with that
Sophia
was
consciousness?
yes,
Yeah.
with a different frequency for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty biblical because there's this idea of a new earth or the heavenly Jerusalem. So it's like the earth, but then there's a new earth. Like you're saying. So there's like a paradigm shift.
Well, because you try to rationalize it, it's kind of like trying to rationalize the fact that there's multiple Badir that exist in this universe as well, in a sense that when you find yourself at a crossroad in your life and you decided to just not take that job to go for those travels, you never ask yourself what happened to me if I would have taken that job.
Yeah.
Well, that version of Badir exists.
Do you really believe that version of Badir exists?
Exist.
You think so?
It does. It does exist.
But then there's an infinite amount of Badirs.
Exactly.
But
the same way for the earth.
So how do I know which one I am? Like, if there's infinite amount of Badirs, because there's an infinite amount of decisions that I could have made along the way.
It's on the field, that you could have made, so those versions still exist. But in this 3D reality, this is this one that you chose.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go on those 7 steps before, you go to access to heavens, right? There's gonna be as well, like, they be showing you your potentials. The road that you could have taken that you got too scared of taking, to say, hey, you see, that version, that does exist as well.
That's pretty scary. I don't think scary is the right word, but that's pretty... If we are confronted with what we could have been at the end of the road, that's...
And that's why a lot of people fall back into the recycling center.
I love how you say that. They fall back into the recycling center.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean, even though it's not something I've ever heard before. But I hear what you're saying. So you're saying that, and I've heard you said this already. You said the reincarnation trap.
Yeah.
So
that's why you have visions of past lives and, like information, bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But it still feels like home is nowhere here on this earth.
Right. So I'm trying to pin you down in terms of philosophy, but you're very hard to pin down because there's a lot of Eastern philosophical elements in what you're talking about, especially this reincarnation trap.
And I have to be honest with you, the only person I study was Carl Jung.
Right. Which makes...
In regards to anima, animus, and Sophia consciousness, yeah. Right. Not even too familiar with Freud, but other philosophers, no.
How did you find Carl Jung? Like, did you just stumble upon him one day?
Yeah, it's actually exactly like that it happened because my mentor was Alan Watts.
Okay, he's great.
Oh man! And then I had a question in my head, and then just on the feed something with animus. I'm like, let me click on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, more.
So for people who don't know what an anima and animus is, explain those.
That's the masculine and feminine part that you have, each individual have internally.
And you were saying earlier that each person has them in various degrees.
So I need to integrate my animus, which is the masculine part, and it's integrating your anima.
Right.
So very likely the woman you'll be attracted to will have those feminine characteristics, very likely about emotions and, that she allows herself that you don't allow yourself, that that's going to be a calling for integration. So the things that fire you the most about her, it's about learning to just breathe, self-regulate, and lean into it. Because then you're going to feel even more whole inside once you can do that. It's like, wow, I don't get triggered anymore. I don't feel like I need to justify myself or answer anything. I just stay present when she's talking.
You hear that, guys? You don't need to answer. You don't need to justify. Just stay present when she's talking.
That's right.
I have a question for you. Do you know what the red pill is?
Yeah, that was from the movie The Matrix, right? The blue pill and red pill.
Right.
Yeah.
But then in today's society, there's also this idea of the red pill.
Yeah.
And it talks a lot about the animus and the anima.
Yeah.
And do you relate to that? Or is that something you haven't spent a lot of time thinking about?
About the society what?
The red pill. There's a lot of red pill guys out there, people who say, "Oh, like I'm a red pill guy," and the animas are animas, and women are women and need to be feminine. Men are masculine, we should be masculine, right? And then there's this idea.
Oh, the gender role, you mean more?
Sure.
Yeah, gender role, yeah, to some extent, yeah.
Okay.
But don't be disconnected completely, yeah. No.
I'm just wondering if you follow any of that, or if you sort of identified with that at all. But it sounds like your identity with that is firmly through Carl Jung, which a lot of it is based off of. Especially this idea of the anima and the animus, and integrating both of them, and
kind of reconnecting to Sophia consciousness. Yeah, absolutely.
Sophia consciousness.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, it's a thing, and so are archons. I didn't know that before this conversation. Although I did hear of Sophia before, in terms of wisdom. Yes. Sophia means wisdom, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Archons I had never heard about. I feel like whenever you see me pick up my phone or on my computer, you're like, he's being sucked into the matrix.
No, I mean, that's part of the thing.
You don't judge, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question. Why do you live in Cayman? I feel like you should be in like a French cafe somewhere having these philosophical conversations,
Really?
Yeah. I feel like you're like from like the 18th century, with what's his name, Derrida and Rousseau.
Diderot, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Why are you in Cayman? How did that happen?
Well, God brought me here.
God did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, it's more like the universe. When you have a connection, and then I felt like it was, I had to come here. So I came here. I thought I would just come and visit for 3 months and go back to New Caledonia where I came from. And I ended up staying. Yeah.
That is so often the story with people in Cayman.
Yeah.
I was only coming here for a few months and I ended up staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
But COVID hit and all of that, so... I didn't want the vaccine. I thought, let's go and travel. I'm going to go to Portugal. But then I ended up staying, and yeah. I'm happy I did.
Okay.
So much growth on this island.
Yeah.
Yeah. This island brought so much understanding, clarity, expansion.
I love that.
And beautiful connections. Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that, because a lot of times you hear the opposite when it comes to Cayman. It's like, oh, it's so small, it's so close-minded, I need more.
I know, but it's like, how much more do you need? But that's the thing. Once you also start that introspective journey, when you can never be bored with yourself.
Right.
And I think the fact that it's a small island is a gift. It's a gift because you're not trapped into a super fast space like what it is in big cities.
Right.
And you actually have an opportunity to slow everything down, to address everything that's going on.
Right. There is a certain appeal to big cities, and sometimes you do wonder if people just need it because they need that distraction from themselves,
Just, or maybe to drown, the noise in their head with louder external noises.
Right.
I don't know. I used to love, when I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, big cities, I want to go to New York, da-da-da. Now I'm like, hell no. I want to stay in Cayman or in the boonies, growing like plants and trees and bunnies and goats and cows, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I can see you in a French cafe philosophizing, I can also see you in the boondocks and living off the grid.
Well, look, I'd be happy to talk to anyone who's interested in having those conversations. Sometimes my soul is, like craving for that. I've got a couple of people that I can speak and dive deep. And,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's important.
It is.
That's, I say it a lot, but that's kind of why I started the podcast too. A lot of it was selfish. A lot of it was like, I want to have these conversations.
Yeah.
And a podcast is a good way to do that,
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people want to have these conversations, A lot of people want to have non-judgmental conversations,
That's why what I do with people is usually I lead by example. I'm gonna talk about the stuff that most people will not want to talk about. When I was on survival and I cheated on my fiance, or it's like, hey, it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but it's okay as long as you can actually see what this is teaching you.
You said you were on survival?
Yeah, when you're on survival mode, you do stuff to just keep you safe, So, and you don't know a lot of women on survival. That's the dynamic that we're watching on society. Massive survival.
Yeah.
People don't know how to secure, to feel secure within themselves. So they think it's about securing love outside. So it's always about, trying to trick, but men and women are on survival, yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty.
Every time you're gonna have women going for men that have money, it's survival that's making them do that. If they compromise their integrity, for that, it's survival that makes you do that.
Right. And so, are you saying then that instinct for survival is not necessarily a good thing?
Well, there's instinct for survival, and there's making decisions based off fear when you can actually take the time to reflect on how you want to go about things.
Right.
Like I traveled on my own since I was 20. And I ended up in countries that I didn't know nothing about. And I had nothing. And there's things that come to your mind. It's like, and if I was to do that? and you're like, no, I can't do this. It's like, maybe I can, and you have battle inside because you're massively in survival. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. But eventually, in as much you listen to that voice that says, no, don't do it, that is rooted way deeper than the fear that says, fucking do it. The mind's like, fucking do it, do it. I'm like, no. Because at the end, you just project. It's like, okay, if I do that, and if I was to take that path, what will happen? At least take the time, 2 seconds to just assess that. Okay, that's going to be what I want, but is it going to be worth, compromising myself? And you waited. And if, for me, it was like, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do it. When you choose yourself, and this is the faith that we talk about in books and stuff, have faith, something's going to come up.
Right.
You know those stories where at the last minute something comes up and you're being saved from, that's what happens.
Yes. It really is what happens.
So it's different than instinct, survival instinct,
Right.
when you're in front of a car and in front of a bear.
Sure.
And when you're in society and you're acting survival with other people, because then it implies using them. And every time you do that, you have to be ready for the person to use you too. And this is a very negative cycle that traps people right now into that use them before they use you type of mindset. And now people they enter relationships with the idea of what can I get from her, or what can I take from him, instead of how can I be a great girlfriend for him, or how can I actually help this woman to achieve her dreams. It's warped. But people can stop. They can stop. Because deep down, when you like this, you must feel super tight.
Right. It's interesting what you're saying, in the idea that where attention goes, energy flows, because it's like almost like we're almost always a step away from enlightenment. Like, especially like when you look at like the human race, like you're saying, right now there's a lot of disconnection, a lot of division and stuff like that. But based on what you're saying, a lot of it is fueled because that's just where our attention is. That's how we're thinking. We're looking at things this way. But if somehow, in some way, the whole world was to redirect its global consciousness towards something more positive, then the world could flip very quickly, And
it's not so much positive; it's more integrated. Instead of pretending, like keeping it real.
I see the difference with what you're saying there. Yeah.
It's just about integration instead of rejection and division.
Right. Like you're saying, it's not even like perfection necessarily either. Yeah.
It's about keeping it
alignment.
Real, and it's also sometimes ugly. Like in nature, you're not gonna get upset at the tree because the branches are not like symmetrical.
Right.
It doesn't need to be perfect. It's perfectly imperfect like that because it's real.
It's perfectly imperfect because it's real. All right, guys, remember that about your girlfriends, and girls, remember that about your boyfriends, okay? He's perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's real.
I mean, it depends. In my relationship, I want truth. In my relationships, even with my friends, I want truth. Yeah. So even if it's sometimes hard, I rather being hit with the truth than smothered with a lie, because that's good for nothing. And with the lie, it's kind of like every time it just creates a gap. And with time, if we want it or not, it just digs itself a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And when the person is not conscious, you feel even more like crap. So you even do like sabotage, Slow down, people.
I'm surprised you have people on island where you can have these conversations with. These
Well,
friends.
I've got my
It's
friend
not a conversation.
Maria. I've got my friend Maria. I mean, I don't know, we think because we were Scorpio, we love diving
You're
into
Scorpio too?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Maybe that has
Maybe
something
that's the
to do.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
But with her, I can dive deep, man. She's like, fasten a seatbelt. She's like, okay, Steph. But she loves it, and it's funny to see even how it impacts positively, on people's lives to actually have those conversations,
Yeah.
because it feels like if someone can be like that and you have a conversation, you also kind of like unconsciously allowing the person to also show themselves real.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And that changes everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if by just being me, I can make a difference with just one person, that person's going to carry in her family
Mm-hmm.
and acting like with better alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're more truthful, you just, this is where you find internal peace.
Mm.
Peace is not going to be found in the bigger house or the next car you're going to get.
Mm. That's true.
It's something, no matter what you have, what you don't have, you've got yourself. You've got this.
Yeah.
It's everything. And you trust.
Yeah.
Because you literally end up feeling like God is with you and within you.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what happens, it's like, okay, it's happening for a reason.
Mm. Yeah, and the bigger house, it never brings peace. The better car, you always want another house, and then the other, and another. It's like this search for something just in the wrong
places.
It's
yeah. Outside.
Mm.
The only way out is in.
The only way out is in. The kingdom of God is within you.
That's true. And all around you.
It's very interesting. I mean, it's so counterintuitive, yet makes sense. I don't know. It's also intuitive.
But it makes sense because look, you go into relationships because you want to feel whole.
Okay.
It's about wholeness.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the very precise reason why people fill themselves up with status, things,
the same
people,
reason.
For that reason.
For the wholeness.
But that's why, yes,
Mm.
hoping to feel whole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's temporary fix because it's external.
Mm-hmm.
It's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that is going to bring you more peace than actually getting to know yourself. Why at that dinner, when that guy said that to that other person, you got reactive.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say anything,
Mm-hmm.
but you saw yourself reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because personally, I had to ask myself those questions. I don't like knowing that other people have power over me like that.
True.
If any dumb person that I don't even know can actually, change my energy to their level,
Right.
I'm like them.
Right.
They win.
Right. It's true. But yet, I mean, people are very reactive to other people.
But that's what creates unsafety.
How does that create safety?
That creates unsafety.
Oh, unsafety. Yeah. Because then you've lost control. You're not in control at that point, right?
And women, there's nothing that is more scary than a man that loses control.
You hear that, guys? There's nothing scarier to a woman than a man who loses control.
But that's why we also, when we vet the vetting process, we're gonna check as well. I mean, I'm gonna check how easy when he's upset, because this is something. I mean, I'm 105 pounds, man.
Right. You need.
I can be like black belt in martial arts. I mean, just a big slap, I'm on the ground.
Right.
So women, we always also unconsciously assess the level of safety we feel with men regarding on how they approach their adversaries,
Right.
how they can.
Right.
Yeah.
That's that's a very red pill concept. In the red pill, there's the concept of shit tests, and it's exactly what you said. A woman will unconsciously test her man to see how he reacts.
Yeah. And it's also to see the level of self-control, because by biology, we're going to have children. And it's also a safety, not just for self, but also for the offsprings, to know that the husband is not going to lose his shit and just grab the kid and make him fly over the room.
Right. And it's so hard for men to see that. They don't understand it. And it's something I talk a lot about with my friends, shit tests. It's such a common phenomenon. And yet so many men react to it. They react to the shit tests. And then their woman steps back. And then she throws a couple more.
Yeah.
And then he's reacting, and then she steps back and she steps back. And so it's like, to the man, it appears as if she's trying to damage the relationship. And in a sense, she is, because she's testing you and you're failing. So I'm going to continue to test. You're going to pop, and then I'm going to walk away because you're not the guy. And then he's sitting there like, well, why did she just harass me?
It was not harassment. It was like desperate attempt to trigger a reaction in you, so you could just get in charge of your reaction and get self-control.
Yes, and you failed. You failed
epically.
Because you reacted and lost control.
But this is, I think, what men can work on. It's their reactivity,
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. The first rule of the red pill: shut the fuck up.
Stay present. Don't run away.
Yeah. Shut up. Don't react.
No.
Don't say nothing.
Just be present. Don't roll the eyes. Don't do any weird face.
Yes, it's I love it.
I mean, after, there's nothing wrong with a man that loses his shit, but he's actually still in control of the way he expresses it, My man is American, and when he gets upset, he's loud, he's American, right? So when he gets upset, it's like next level.
Right.
And the first time I heard him, that was really intimidating. No, it was not towards me, right? But I was like, man, I would not want to be that guy. And but I'm not afraid, because I know it doesn't take it on to people. It doesn't get the point where the fuse is gone and it's uncontrollable.
Right. It's the uncontrollable part of it, right?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It is. But the control, it's on everything. It's on what you put in your body, the food, how much self-control you have with your food, with women. There's lots of stuff that we test.
But men don't realize that. They don't.
What do you test in women, Tia? I want to know that. What do guys test?
We don't.
Yes, you do. I'm sure
simple. Men are simple. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't look at her friends if she's got like friends that are a bit like party animals, like to be a red flag, or you don't notice those stuff?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Or you kind of like dismiss that part because she looks like way too much fun in bed to actually dismiss her.
Physical attraction is definitely very important for a guy, right?
But this is where This is where guys act out of alignment.
Yes.
When the voice inside says to them, don't go there.
Yes, agreed.
But the brain, or I should say, that brain says, fucking go.
Yes. No, you're right. But I think even though physical attraction is important for a guy, like you're saying, there are certain red flags.
You have to have standards.
Yes, there are still standards, right? However, some guys are, I guess, maybe very insecure and are enraptured by the beauty, and that they'll ignore the flags, they'll ignore the flags. But I don't think a guy ever really tests a woman in the same way that the woman tests the man. You know, there's no unconscious
testing there.
You know.
I think there is.
You think?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like what?
Like it's unconscious testing on how much you can really open up to your woman.
Okay. How does that look like?
So it's gonna look like there's something you want to talk about because it's heavy on your chest, but you're gonna start first by talking about other things that have a bit of that energy to it, to just see if she judges or if she reacts to it. It's kind of like just testing the field to see, okay, can I actually talk to her? Is it safe or not? And if it's not, you know, they're going to be like, okay, that's it. I don't do it. And this is where, unfortunately, there's, you know, a part could have been reintegrated there. But men, you do test as well.
Okay, and in that situation then, how is a woman supposed to respond to that test, right? Because we know how the men are supposed to respond to the woman's test. Don't freak out. Don't lose control. Stay centered. But how is a woman supposed to respond to the man's test of seeing how much he can open up to her?
Well, when he comes up and start opening up just a little bit as a test, she needs to shut the fuck up. Okay.
Just great advice all around.
All right,
people.
just zip it, girl, zip it. Because with women, when if you're my girlfriend and you say something, I'm like, oh yeah, girl, yeah, you're right. You know, we do that.
True.
When a man speaks, zip it. No, lock it in and just be present. And they have to wait. When he's finished talking, wait 30 seconds more. Because very often, you know, there's that long pause.
True.
And then there's something else that's going to come up.
Yes. No, I actually agree with that. I agree that 30 seconds, a guy will wait.
Even on the phone with my man, I just wait.
Yeah.
It's like those blank with nothing.
Yeah.
But it's powerful. It's powerful. There's a lot happening in those silence. So don't be in a rush to just fill it up with your noise. Just keep quiet.
There you go. Actionable advice for men and women. Shut up.
Oh, yeah. Be present.
True.
Be present.
True.
Doesn't mean to be dismissed or zone out. It's just present. It's all of a sudden you forget, like, not forget about you, but try to understand what's going on without judging. You're a team in your relationship.
So what else do men and women? How else do they test each other? What are some other
Well, that
insights?
one was a big one, you know, for men to... It's a subtle one. You know, how men test women. And also, I guess men will also test women in public settings to see how much attention she requires from strangers, other men. Because this is also something that determines standards.
Sure.
Because what you want is someone that, because your woman is beautiful, that you know that men try to court her, but she can just say no very kindly and just protect herself and the relationship.
Sure. I agree. That's very important. Is it the same for women?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In public settings?
Yeah, just noticing how much attention your man needs from other women. Because that tells you a lot about mommy issues and yeah. And you kind of gauge if he needs to say hi to every woman or to engage with every smile with every woman. I mean, massive red flag. Massive red flag. I was like, wait a minute. Or even if you're at the restaurant or at a coffee shop and you with him, and if how easily distracted can he be, you know, with people passing.
Right.
Subtle things.
Right.
Just note.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. We test each other. It's not just women.
I believe you.
Because it's all to do with safety, and safety, it's so eventually, unconsciously, it's so like along the track, I can unpack the stuff and feel more whole.
Mm-hmm.
That's why with time you gain wisdom, you increase your level of internal peace. It's for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's for wholeness. All of that contributes to you feeling whole.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question. What happens when you die, according to Stephanie?
So when you die, when your physical body dies, your soul just goes through a few steps, seven gates.
I heard you say 7 earlier. I wanted to ask you about that number.
7 gates. I might be wrong, but that's just from my research. But also, please, like if you're interested in it, go on the Noctis text and check it out. And so it's different layers.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I know this is a matrix and a construct system based on reincarnation to keep harvesting our energy until we even forget our humanity. So there's going to be different gates, and they're all going to be different steps. One's going to be, I believe, the first one, because we all get the belief that once you die, you're going to see the faces of people that passed before you. I believe that this is a trap. This is a trap because they can mimic exactly what you believe they know already about your belief system, that they're going to project what you believe to unconsciously, to consent to coming back. So if you die and my mom passed, and she says, oh my God, we didn't have time enough, let's go back again. If my spirit says, I'm not really aware, I'm going to be like, oh yes, okay. Bam, you back on reincarnation because you have consented to come back. If you pass that step because you stand still, that's why meditation is so important, and breath work, so you can actually, make the difference between lights that binds and lights that is real. Right? So you stand still when you're facing your mom, and when you stand still and you say, and you can notice that it's not really her, but it's kind of her, but you wait, it's gonna start shifting and going away. You pass the second gate. The second gate can be the one where you confronted to your deepest fear, or the strong shameful moment of your life, or the most guilt-tripping moment of your life. And if you feel the shame and you're like, oh my God, that was so bad, you're gonna consent to come back, to cover it. That's why in this lifetime, facing your shame is important, so you don't get trapped there. Because when you feel shameful about something, you say, did you do that? No, I didn't do that. You're hiding it, right? You don't want to admit it. Once you're there in front of the gate, there's no hiding. If you want to hide, if it's the reflex you have, you're back on, you trap into the reincarnation system. There's going to be a few layers. And then even on the Bible, they said that even the strongest heart can be deceit. I forgot how it says it. I'm not real versed on that. But basically, even people that do the work, the introspective work, the philosopher and others, you're still going to be have the temptation at the gate to be like, let's come back.
Right.
Look, you can help so many people. Just to try on the ego. You can save people. I'm not here to save people. I'm here to just learn about myself, and whoever comes and wants to know and converse, then I can share wisdom with them. But I'm not there to be like on a social media, TV, whatever, talking about spirituality. I don't want that life.
So what, you don't have social media?
Yeah, but if it's just up to me, I get like a flip phone and that's it.
Nokia. Bring the Nokias back. Those were the good old days, man.
Yep.
No apps. No Instagram, no Facebook.
And you know why also I don't really care about that, because it feels like with AI now you can just fake everything. You know, it's like you can even read a prompter while your eyes are showing it's no.
Yeah.
No, that's, and I think it's dangerous when you carry a certain frequency code within you, you know, to even be on those platforms.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
Imagine some of the stuff that I can talk about, how if it was public, how some people would be triggered by it.
True. True.
So I mean, and that's fine, they can be triggered, whatever, you know, but for my life, I'd rather wait people to come and be drawn to me than say, hey, I'm here.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. Lots of good one-liners here in this podcast.
All right.
Well, Steph, I gotta go.
Yeah. Thanks. That was nice talking about that.
You too. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the conversation. I really appreciate your insight, your intuition into these things. I feel like got to talk with a French philosopher, which I really appreciate.
Traveled in time, 1800s, you said, hey?
At the French cafe. Yeah, I think you fall in line in a great tradition. And I think, I do. I think it's in your blood, and I think that's great. I'm happy that you're here in Cayman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I'm happy that we had this conversation. Is there anything that you had that in your heart that you wanted to say or get out, or?
No, thank you. No, thank you. And whenever you want to talk, even if it's outside of that, you know, anytime, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
We can go sit at
the French
cafe.
Also.
Oh yeah, the French cafe. What's that one called? Petit Paris.
Oh yeah,
Did I say that right?
Yeah, Le Petit Paris, but I don't really care about that place. No.
But cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. And,
you're welcome so much.
Have a great weekend, and good luck on your journey of integration. And thanks for reminding me of my journey of integration, and reminding all of us. You know, I think we are all on this path, and I think what we talked about today is a lot for us to remember and remind ourselves, because I think we all instinctively know that this is true, but we get caught up in the world, we get caught up in our phone, we get caught up in life, and it's really about finding that peace, living in the present, you know.
Well, it's noticing every time you want to catch your phone to be like, notice that little voice that says, no, I don't need to do that.
You don't.
You hear it yourself.
You hear, and there's nothing there. You pick up the phone and there's nothing. You're like, even if you have like notifications and you click on you click on the notification, it's like nothing.
But that's why next time it's like realize that and say, you know what, I can leave my phone for half an hour over there.
Yeah. Half hour is not that long.
It's not that long, but when your mind is screaming for something, you know, it's like all the good ideas are born in boredom. Okay. The same way that, you know, the stuff that needs your attention about your reintegration to feel more whole, it's in boredom that it comes up.
True.
So get bored shitless and sit with it.
Get bored shitless and sit with it.